And so even the government will admit that the 10% is just sort of a headline number they report, but that their own real number is 16 or 17%. But if you go ahead and adjust all the figures back to how they used to count it, it is 21%. And these jobs are gone. If you look at Detroit or Michigan, I mean, it just looks like a bombed out area. The industry's gone. The tax base is gone.
Well, look at Detroit and many areas of Michigan have right at 50% unemployment, and the government just keeps raising taxes, more police, more checkpoints, more fines. I live in Texas. In the last 2 years, they've announced 5 new business taxes. Every few months, some new bureaucrat shows up and says, "You didn't know about this new tax, buddy?" And they're arrogant and they're bossy. And I mean, and I'm getting to the point of like, I want to keep getting the word out, but if I was just a regular business person, why would I want to employ a bunch of people? Why would I want to take a bunch of risk so some parasite can come to my door and boss me around?
Right. Well, it's like you said earlier, Alex, we're slaves. We're slaves. We don't own our own labor. We have no legal protection. We can't, you can't get the truth from what used to be reliable television and print media. It's just not. It's not a situation that bodes any promise for anything good. There's no way you can come out of this. You're fed disinformation. Your rights are taken away. Your jobs are taken away. And then they say they're going to give you health care by making you buy a private insurance policy. And that's the whole problem.
And then even the socialists, even Howard Dean and Dennis Kucinich and all these big liberals, they read the bill and said, my God, this is a ripoff to banks and insurance companies and liability protection for big pharma. They raise the taxes, threaten to throw you in jail, make you buy insurance, penalize people that got fancy plans with a 40% tax. There's at least 19 new taxes in the bill. AP has reported. The Democrats don't want it. The conservatives don't want it, but the establishment wants it. I mean, this is a rogue government.
It's a government of special interest. There are a few well-organized, powerful special interests, and they control the government. And we know who they are. We know it's AIPAC. It's the financial lobby. It's the military security lobby. It's the private insurance lobby. And it's the tort lawyers. And they control the government. And the government does what they say because they provide the campaign contributions that get the members elected. And that's why it's hard for the people to take the government back, because the government is dependent on a handful of organized special interests for the campaign contributions. So we went wrong when we allowed that type of campaign finance. And it was done under the guise of the First Amendment right. But, of course, this destroyed all the rights. And I don't see how you can change it, because now the members are dependent on that kind of money for their financing. And they have to then serve the people who put them in office.
And it's deeper than that, though. There's also a lot of blackmail going on, and it's come out the MI6 spies on the parliament and blackmails them. I mean, this is just a black hole of corruption.
Well, that's the reason, in my view, that Bush was violating the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. He was spying on people without warrants because it had nothing to do with terrorism. He was getting the goods on the Democrats so they couldn't oppose his program.
Yeah, you said that here about 3 years ago, and that came out earlier this year, that congressmen were spied on.
Yeah. Well, I said it when we first learned that he was violating the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. There's no reason to violate it, because it doesn't prevent you from spying. It just makes you go to a court to get a warrant. But if you're trying, it means you have to have a real reason. So you can't go to the court and say, well, I want to spy on the Democrats so I can blackmail them. And so that's why they were spying without warrants. And they got away with it. And it's a felony. And nothing happened. Nobody was.
So how does this emboldening end where they set the precedent? We spy illegally, we arrest illegally, we torture, we put the tortured on trial. I mean, what comes next? It just gets worse and worse.
It's a Stalinist state. And it's all due to 9/11, which many people, as you know, yourself included, think was an inside job. And so they used something to destroy our rights and our prospects. And
so they could be secure in robbing everything.
I think so. You know what? It's evil, isn't it? I mean, evil is not always explicable. Why do this?
Power.
Power is the horse ridden by evil. And
stay there, Dr. Roberts. Final segment. We've got a break for commercial. Come right back to Dr. Roberts' final segment, author of The Tyranny of Good Intentions.